Hello and welcome to my Sustain the Industry video for the month of September. This month I was not able to get many volumes, so I got only two, which are BTOOOM Volume 18 and Nisekoi Volume 21. So instead of I usually try to just briefly go through every volume, here because there are only two volumes, I thought I'd go more in length, more in depth on each volume of each series. So let's start with BTOOOM. This manga is BTOOOM is essentially like in the world of the story. BTOOOM originally is a video game, and people try to make like a virtual, like a real version of the game. In this game you can only use grenades and whatnot, and there are 40 people. I think that's 40, no? Whatever. Like all these people are like nominated by society. They're like rejects of society that were selected to participate in the game. So yeah, they have to kill each other, and there's a ton of psychological drama and action, and it's pretty cool. Like the art style is also pretty nice. Like you need to get used to it, but overall it's yeah, the action sometimes feels static, but I don't know, it's pretty cool. So in this volume, it's like in the more advanced part of the second arc. The real world is also like there are two stories going on, the one on the island and the one in the real world. So the one on the island just continues as usual, but the story in the real world that is like going parallel, it has advanced a lot in this volume, and like the whole story might change after this, like in the next chapters, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's very fun. Sometimes it's a little bit gruesome, so yeah. Also the volumes, I think the Japanese and French releases are better at conveying it, but they're designed like video game cases. It's not as evident in the English release, but it's a nice touch. So definitely I think you should buy one volume, maybe two volumes of this series to see if you like it. Like maybe check it out online before you buy it, of course. And yeah, that's it for BTOOOM Volume 18. Sorry. Next is Nisekoi Volume 21. I have huge problems with this series. This manga is a harem romantic comedy. Okay, so it falls into all the cliches and traps, like and trappings of other romantic comedies, but it has like an extra layer. Like it's more complex, it's more engaging, but that's exactly its problem, because it still continues with all the problems of other romantic harem comedies. And yeah, okay, so let me explain. In like there are many romantic comedy series. So we have Nisekoi, we have, let's say, Love Hina, and we have Ranma. Now let me explain the intricacies of each one. In Love Hina, like in almost every harem romantic comedy, you know who the main character is going to end up with, and it's the girl he meets first. Usually it's like you can see the development between the characters like very early on, and like you will and you stay to read it, not because you want to know who the character is going to end up with, because obviously because it's a harem, so he has there are like tons of mini romance stories between him and all the other females, but you know who he's going to end up with in the end, so it doesn't really matter. You either stay for the characters and the hijinks, the slapstick and whatnot, or you just stop reading. It's that simple. That's the charm of this kind of story. Next is something like Ranma Half. Okay, so in Ranma Half, you are introduced. You know, again, from the start, who the main character is going to end up with. There is no question. Like, they introduce new fiancés, new potential, like, wife candidates and whatnot. But really, that doesn't matter, like, in a romantic sense, because you know who the main character is going to end up with. In Love Hina, it's the art style and these characters that are driving the whole story, and in Ranma, it's the characters and the interesting scenarios that Rumiko Takahashi is able to put them through. Like, she's extremely creative. So that's all well and good, and again, like, the romance is a trapping that will take like younger readers. They will not know. They will think it's really interesting who the main character will end up with, because they are not experienced with such stories. So that's an intro for younger readers, but for like older readers, this is not like, they know from the start who the main character, like the couple that's going to be at the end. No, here's the problem. Nisekoi goes a step further. They grab the young readers with the main couple, like Ichijo and Chitoge, like from the very start. But there's another layer of Ichijo being in love with Kosaki, and Kosaki being in love with him. So you have a really like a love triangle dynamic in this whole harem story, because she's also a love interest, and you have her as a love interest. She's like a half, like both of these are like half love interests. Like, you have a harem, but you have a serious like love triangle in the middle. So the extra layer is that you do not know until the end who the main character is going to end up with, and that's really a problem, because it still treats it, the story is treated like a normal harem romantic comedy. There is a ton of filler, so it doesn't progress the story. You have no idea, like the characters don't develop in those filler chapters. The story is not progressing, nothing is happening, and like, again, for younger viewers, they're still hooked. They do not know what's going on. They enjoy the characters and the scenarios, but for older viewers, this is just dragging it, because the series just can't do it. It knows that you want to know what happens in the end. So I would not recommend reading this. Like, here in volume 21, actually the first chapter is very interesting. It adds another new dynamic. Like, we are going to get an actual story and character development, and but after the first chapter, the next 9 chapters are complete, like, in my opinion, it's garbage, because it's just adding another arc. This is useless. You know how it's going to end. The characters do exactly what they did like a few volumes ago, like as if they never changed. The jokes are the same, the scenarios are the same, everything. You know how like they did tease like an interesting plot twist like at the end, but again, everything in the middle, and even if it's interesting at the end, you know, like the end result will not matter in this arc, because it will not change anything in the love triangle. So for younger readers, this is in my opinion a great manga to read. But for older ones, I'd say stay away, because you're going to get so fucking, sorry for my language, so fucking bored. So yeah, I do not recommend buying this. Yeah, there are much better series like Ranma Half. There is an English publication by Viz Media, 2-in-1 edition omnibuses, and there is a 3-in-1 edition for Love Hina by Kodansha Comics. These series are much better. Yes, they do not have this interesting love triangle in the middle of the harem twist, but at least it works. It does everything with its strengths, and unlike this series, which really dabbles in the weakness that it created for itself. So yeah, that's everything I have to say about this, about these volumes. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.